Some of these things up here are just normal toolbar options. I like to have the markers because if I'm working in the studio, I have more than one screen, and sometimes it is really practical if I'm working here in the mix console right now and I want to go back to the chorus or the verse, I just click that certain marker or open my marker window real quick, and I have an overview over all the marker and I can jump to a certain location. That is much better than going to another screen and there finding the marker there and click back and forth and go to another screen and work on my mix console again. A lot of the things in the mixer are modular, so that means you can adjust them, and if you don't need that much markers, or if you like to see all 8 of these, then you can show or hide them by dragging the tiny dots. I also like to have the global mute, solo, read-write automation and also the global bypass buttons, because sometimes if you have a lot of channels and you are somewhere else, it is not that easy to mute, unmute or unsolo all of these if you don't have that up here. That is, I think, very practical because of the different solo modes that Cubase offers. Also, for comparing reasons, I like to have the possibility to bypass all the inserts, equalizer, channel strip or send effects. Another great function is the linking functions, and there you have 2 different ones. One that is more practical for a permanent channel linking, and one that is practical for just some short changes. Both work pretty much the same way. That means if you want to do some changes to a group of tracks at the same time, then you highlight them, you use the quick link button, and all of the changes are applied to the linked tracks at the same time. Don't forget to unlink it if you want to apply changes to one channel only. There is another possibility to do so if you have quick linked or permanently linked a group of channels. You can bypass the function by hitting your Alt or Option key. So you don't have to go up here and link and unlink. You can work on your settings, bypass the function, work on your settings again, bypass the function, work on the settings for the group and so on. That is really easy. If you want to do that for a group of tracks, this function is really great. You also could do so by clicking the suspend button, but if you have the quick link functions activated like I just did, you see suspend will unlink the group. Another possibility you have to use the quick link function is to use a key shortcut to activate this function real quick for a short amount of time and just working on your tracks separately or as a group for just a quick peek. That works if you press Alt or Option with Shift together. Then the quick link function will be active for as long as you hold down that key command. And the second function you have is the absolute function. So you see, if you activate your quick link or link function, then all the changes you do will be relative. That means right now I have one fader that is up high and one is at 0 and one at around -10. And if I do apply changes, let's say 5 dB, it will be relative. So the one from 6 changed to around 0, the one that was at 0 changed to -5 and so on. But sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you want that if you apply a change to this group of tracks, that all the values are set to the same level. And that you do by using the absolute function, which forces all of your tracks to the same absolute value. So you see, all my panners are at a different stage, but if I want them to go all to the same value, I use the absolute button. If I undo that, right now they are linked. If I make some changes that are only for that channel and go back to my linking function, it will be relative again. If you want to just quick link these three, you can do it with the quick link button, or like I said, with a shortcut. If you are sure you want to link this group for a longer period of time and you want to come back to that group as a group and you want to work on them linked, then you should establish these as a group. And you can also say what the group is for and just tick the boxes here. Or you could also apply a VCA fader to this group that I will show somewhere else. If I now click OK, you can see my group XL is now here activated as a group, and I even can go somewhere else and work on other tracks and the group still will be linked, even though I don't have the quick link function active. You can of course see how many groups you have. You can go to these groups, you can edit these groups. And if you give this function some thought, I think it is a great time saver. I also like to see my audio performance, especially for bigger projects. It is interesting for me to know that I like to see in combination with another function which is really cool, and it's called channel latency. So if you go to the second cogwheel on the right, there's some possibilities, and one of these is called the channel latency. And the channel latency shows you how much latency a certain track produces. And like very powerful effects or virtual instruments will sometimes put a heavy load on your disk or your CPU, and then this will add up, and it's interesting for some certain situations to know how long this latency is, and you can see it here. And that in combination with my audio performance gives me a really interesting information. And the last thing here on the right is different functions. There is a drop down that will give you the possibility to apply some general rules to your mixer. There is the audio racks drop down, which I do apply to my mixers in a different way. That I will show in a moment. There's the left zone with your 4 tabs on the top and 2 on the bottom. There's the right zone, which gives you your control room and the insert effects to your control room, or your metering section, which is a very powerful tool and super practical to have just one click away. That is your peak meter, where you can use different scales depending on what you need. Or your loudness meter, which gives you an overview in LOFS. The 2 cogwheels on the right top give you either a layout for your mixer. There you have the possibility to show different things. I need some of these a lot and some less. Really cool is the mixer function. For the equalizer, you can see really easy that you applied things, and if you click in the equalizer, some of the functions can be accessed with shortcuts, and therefore it is easy to do some minor changes. Here in this window, you just click it and it pops up for a certain channel. And if you use the shortcuts, the key shortcuts, which I already explained in the shortcuts videos, then it is very easy to make some minor changes in this window that is not that big and doesn't give you as much information as your normal channel equalizer. You have your channel racks. You can show pictures if you wanna show some pictures for instruments, which I do. Sometimes if I'm working a lot with MIDI and instrument channels, I want to show some pictures that I know which kind of sound the channel is for. Like I said, here's the channel latency. Sometimes I also like to write in some information for this certain channel, so I use the notes. And of course, the channel racks I would use in every case. These I do change for the mixer that I use mostly. What I mean is, you do not only have one mixer in Cubase, you have more than one. Or let's say you have one that you can open 3 times. If I'm working on my laptop and I'm on the road or somewhere else, then I mostly use the channel visibility functions to change between different configurations. But if I'm in the studio and I have more than one screen available, then I would use more than one mixer. So if you click in Studio or you hit the F3 button, that means your main mixer window will open. But if you click on Studio, you see you also have a second and a third mix console. And what I do is I configure these mostly like I explained before. The difference is here, if I use the visibility, the layout will always be the same. So I can just do one layout, and with my visibility I can show in this layout different tracks. But what I like to do is I like to configure my layout and my tracks at once and save them with a different mixer view. So in one window I would have, for example, my MIDI and instrument tracks with a different configuration of my racks and the window layout than in my other mixer. So on one window I would have my main mixer or just my project view, and on another screen I would have my main mixer, and on the third one maybe my audio or my MIDI and VSTi mixer. That gives me the possibility to work really effective and comfortable, and in combination with the possibilities to do different layouts and the channel visibility and snapshots or quick link function, I think that is one of the best features of Cubase.